Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of Look Forward. I'm your host, Jay. I'm here with my co-host, Brad.
So I don't know about you, but I am walking into this week with a great sense of relief after one of the most harrowing moments in time in American history. Because, Jay, I don't know if you realize this, but for 85 minutes last week, we had a woman in charge of the presidential reins of the United States of America, because Joe Biden, that old octogenarian or septuagenarian man, I guess he's still a septuagenarian for now, had to get a colonoscopy.
Yeah.
And so had to be put in under anesthesia for this treatment. And so had to temporarily sign over presidential powers to Vice President Kamala Harris. And Jay, thank God, apparently she wasn't on her period. Otherwise, we probably would have gotten into a world war with Russia and China.
You never know. You never know with these women, according to conservative mindsets.
I don't know about you.
They'll get on a period and start a war.
For that entire 85-minute stretch, I was just white knuckling the entire time.
Look out, are we going to be okay? Yeah, it turns out we're going to be totally fine. It's not a big deal. She's a competent person. Yeah,
I did enjoy all of the jokes that were just what if Kamala Harris, while she was president, signed an executive order that was limit all student death, and then Joe Biden wakes up and he's like, oh, I can't believe you did that, but I don't feel like undoing it, so I guess we just canceled student debt.
That would be fucking hilarious. I disagree with your actions, however, the final results I totally agree with. So there you go. That would be a nice trick to give her presidential powers to do something like that, right before, at the end of their, close to the end of their 8 years or whatever. Let's say they win re-election, and it's a couple days out, and it's all right, I got a routine thing, a medical thing. I'm passing the powers over to vice president, and she just does an executive move that people have been waiting for 8 years, and just boom. By the way, I'm running for president next week. You're welcome, everybody. That would be a great move. That's the kind of theater weirdly Democrats would never do. Republicans would do shit like that.
Oh, 100%.
And it would work. People would be oh shit, oh, mind blowing. It would, because it's ridiculous and TV show type of stuff.
My favorite coda to the Biden colonoscopy story, by the way. So remember a couple of years ago when Trump mysteriously went to Walter Reed and we didn't know why, and we assumed that maybe he had a stroke or something like that. Mm-hmm. Well, allegedly, according to Kayleigh, or actually no, I guess it was the other press secretary that didn't actually hold a press conference. I don't even remember her name because
it's irrelevant.
It is irrelevant. Allegedly, Trump actually went to Walter Reed in the dead of afternoon suddenly because he too needed to get a colonoscopy, and because he was so afraid that if he told people what he was doing, that the media would make fun of him for getting a camera shoved up his pooper, that he didn't tell anybody what he was doing.
Oh my God, dude. As far as I can remember back to, in my normal adult brain, I remember even Bill Clinton going under for a colonoscopy. Yeah. It's a normal thing they do at their age. It's not unreasonable.
Turns out old guys need to have cameras shoved up their butt to make sure that there's nothing crazy going on.
Dude, no one's going to make fun of you. Sure, some people are going to make fun of you. I'm sure there are people on the right who made fun of Joe Biden for getting a colonoscopy, but you should get a colonoscopy. You're old. You got to make sure everything is working.
To be clear, we would have made fun of him, but we would have done it while also still encouraging older men to get themselves checked out.
Yeah, checked out. What the hell are you doing? And if that's true, if that's the reason, boy, is he a pathetic loser. He's a really loser, dude. Hey, why are you going to the doctors? I got to get a colonoscopy. Oh, all right. Whatever, man. Oh, you getting the camera up your ass? Yeah, all right. It's not a fun time for me either. All right, next. Dick Cheney had to get a heart replaced. Relax.
Yeah.
It's fine. Or one finally installed, I guess is a better way of saying it. So yeah, that's really quite silly. So yeah, she was president for 85 minutes. Yes, not a big deal, guys, because women can be president too. Like, it's fine. It's fine.
I too wait with bated breath for the Bob Woodward book just titled 85 Minutes, the Kamala Harris
presidency. Oh my god. The white knuckling of America. Like
what did she do? I don't know. She fucking sat in the office and chilled for a while.
I mean, you got to you got to do one presidential thing, right? Like what in that 85 minutes, you can't just sit in the office or sit in your normal office. Like if I was president for like 85 minutes, like okay, what can only the president do that's not like an international like incident, right? like the Eagle has landed. Bring me a Coke or like something. I don't know. Like I take a cruise around Air Force One. Something.
Is the Diet Coke button still installed in the Oval? Can I go sit in the chair?
Right. Like I would do something. Like have my wife come in, take a picture of me, with my feet on the Resolute desk. Like something, man. Like that's right. Suck it, Reagan. Like something, man. Like you got to do something. And I feel like I bet there's some sort of like White House tradition like that. Like a goofball kind of tradition that they do. Just like an internal thing that's like known by like presidents and vice presidents only and like top tier staff that they do something like that just like because it's kind of fun, right? Like, yeah, I'm sure Al Gore did. I'm like, it's just, you have to do something. Like, I know I would. And I'd be like, yeah, that's right. It's my shit. Take a picture and be like, just like my feet on the Resolute desk, flipping the double bird, like, fuck you, Joe. And then he comes back and it's like a video of it.
Make sure you're wearing a tan suit at the time.
Absolutely.
Otherwise, what will the right wing have to be outraged about?
Right, except for that picture of Ronald Reagan wearing one.
Yeah. Well, he's white, so he's allowed to. Speaking of things that white people are apparently allowed to do.
Perfect transition, Brad. You're a consummate professional. Kyle Rittenhouse, everybody. Acquitted on all charges this week. Yeah, I mean, I wish I could say I'm upset because that would imply that I didn't see it coming, right? Mm-hmm. I think we all saw it coming. It doesn't make it any less irritating. It doesn't make it any less disgusting. But the second his gun charges got tossed last week, the previous week that we talked about, it was a done deal, right? They weren't planning on putting this kid away and charging him with clearly anything. Which is wild because we know that the kid who sold him the AR-15 underage, when Kyle Rittenhouse was underage, is set to stand trial to possibly do 6 years. So I'm
partially surprised only because they did the thing that prosecutors like to do when they're swinging a big stick at somebody, trying to hit them up on usually murder charges or something like that. And if they're not sure if it's in the bag, and like you said, because of the actions of the judge and, throwing out the gun charge in particular, and just kind of the climate of things, they did also include lesser charges to the jury as well. So like what they'll do is like, it'll be a murder charge, but we'll also throw manslaughter on there. So a lot of times juries will bite on that to be like, well, I don't think it was murder, but he definitely killed somebody, so we still think he should be punished. So they'll convict him on the manslaughter charge, but not on the higher murder charge. And they did that this time. And they still found him not guilty. And I think it's important to remember that Kyle Rittenhouse is being judged by a jury of his peers. It wasn't like he was being judged by 12 liberal people in Kenosha, Wisconsin. Right. Like he was being judged by the citizens of Kenosha, Wisconsin. And if you believe the political lay of the land right now, the way things are in this country, half the citizens of this country are sympathetic with Kyle Rittenhouse and his actions, essentially, or maybe a little less than half. But that's still probably, odds are 4 or 5 jurors were very sympathetic to that charge. I'd be interested. I don't know if they polled the jury to see how everyone voted, but I would be curious to know what the vote count was in terms of guilty versus non-guilty, especially on the murder charges, just because I can't imagine that he didn't get off only probably because a handful of folks in the jury were willing to acquit him. So
yeah, look, this story is going to tie into this story, and the next story are going to tie pretty solidly into the third. But what I would say is, there's also the aspect, and I feel like people are dancing around it, but in different ways than the point I'm going to make. Kyle Rittenhouse is a kid, right? That doesn't make him innocent, right? Like him being a young white guy, a young white kid, right? He's 19 now. He was 17 at the time, or he's 18. He's 17 at the time. The way that like young black and brown kids are treated in this country, Tamir Rice, for instance, Michael Brown, for instance, those were also kids. Tamir Rice was a preteen. He wasn't even a teenager, right? Trayvon Martin, these are kids. Kyle Rittenhouse is also a kid, right? But he is actually given the kid status by the right, where Tamir Rice, Trayvon Martin, Michael Brown are not given kid status, right? Which is the problem because they're all children. I think that plays a lot into. I think I think he's guilty. I think he should have absolutely been found guilty. I think they should have thrown the fucking book at this kid. But one of the big reasons of like even like anybody paying attention could tell he was fake crying. Like, I mean, it was super obvious, right? Like he wasn't even good at it, right? He wasn't like he was really bad at it. But him being a kid worked to his favor, right? And
it did, and to that point, the difference also is that like, Michael Brown and Tamir Rice and Trayvon Martin didn't get to be kids because we didn't even get to
talk to them,
hear them tell their story. Like they were just killed by the police or by vigilantes before it even got to that point,
right?
To any kind of point with them, and that's why it's not quite as apples and apples to me in that instance, because it's not like those children were being charged with crimes. Like they were just killed extrajudiciously for existing, essentially. So it's not quite the same thing.
No, but no, my point isn't. I understand your point, and I think that's a valid one, right? Versus like victim versus assailant, basically, right?
Yeah.
Like my point is, America doesn't treat those black and brown children
100%.
Like children, and that's the problem. Like Kyle Rittenhouse getting off to me is unacceptable. But I can understand in the mindsets of people on that jury, whether you agree with his actions or not, you believe his story or not, you're like, this is a kid. And this kid fucked up. Like, I'm talking as them. I'm not talking as myself. Just so we're clear.
This kid fucked up, 2 people are dead and
right,
another one injured. Like that mind state of, well, he just made a mistake. Like that
right. And I again, like I'm talking as these people's mindset. I'm not talking as myself. I think that's like book, throw it at him. Okay. Like get another one and throw that too. So, but what I'm saying is like their mindset is likely this is a kid. And my guess is the judge, I mean, it's clear that the judge feels this way. This is a kid. We don't want to ruin this kid's life. Meanwhile, he killed 2 people. Same thing that happened with Brock Turner. Hey, you don't want these few seconds to ruin this kid's life. And it's not that they're correct about those 2 people. It's just the idea of that mindset is never applied evenly across the board. That's my point. And so Tamir Rice was a 12-year-old kid who had a BB gun. They pulled up and they shot him in less than 2 seconds. Right? I'm not exaggerating. You can watch the video of it. Right? They didn't ask him any questions. Nothing. They just shot him. Right? He was never allowed to be a kid in their eyes. Michael Brown was shot multiple times with his hands up. He was not allowed to just be like, oh, this is a wayward kid. Yeah, he's a big guy, but he's still a kid. He was young, right? Trayvon Martin was a kid. 13, 14 years old. He was a kid. By all accounts, if you saw them in normal society walking down the street, you'd be like, that's a kid. So I can understand the mindset of a person who is sympathetic to like right-wing sensibilities saying, yeah, man, this is a kid. And I don't want to put this kid in jail. I understand the mindset. I don't agree with it, but I understand it. And his youth worked to his advantage. But the problem is he was also 100% guilty. And again, throw all the books at him. But I can understand their mindset.
That's the part that's frustrating to me is that I just don't understand. And again, we weren't on the jury. We didn't hear the full extent of the trial. We only got, the clips that were shared. But he put himself into that situation. Like regardless of whether or not you believe he was defending himself, and again, the people that were quote unquote assailing him did not have weapons, and he did. So I mean, that kind of
the one guy had a weapon.
Oh, the one guy did. Okay,
yeah, the one guy did.
But Kyle Rittenhouse lives in Illinois. He doesn't live in Kenosha, Wisconsin. He made the choice, and his mother also made the choice to drive him to this protest
with an AR-15,
with a weapon. And what do you think the end result of that's going to be? Like, please tell me the positive outcome that could come from Kyle Rittenhouse being driven to this protest with a long rifle. Like, tell me what the upside of the situation is that doesn't end in in people die.
Right. Like, it's weird, right? Because he says, "Oh, I was going to be a medic." Where's your gauze? Like, what are you talking about? Like, dude, like, to me, one of the biggest telltale signs of bullshit, I mean, besides like you're carrying an assault weapon around, medics don't really do that. Like, that's not really, I don't know, it's not Call of Duty, guys. Like, it's a little odd. But one of the biggest telltale signs to me is the image of him holding the AR-15 with rubber gloves on. Why do you have rubber gloves on? You have them on so you don't get gunpowder residue on your hands. That's the reason. Like, that's the fucking reason. Did anyone ask that question? Hey, dude, what's up with the gloves? They're medical gloves for like when I do all my medicine work. Like, I don't know. Sometimes I gotta help with the gauze. I didn't bring any. Like it's bullshit. It's bullshit. He went there to defend property and to kick ass and take names as he saw it. Shit went down. He shot and killed 2 people, or he shot and killed 1 guy. Another guy came after him because they were like, "Oh shit, this kid's an active shooter." They tried to stop him. He killed another guy. A third guy was like, "Oh shit, this guy's killed 2 people. He's an active shooter. I'm gonna try to kill him, or I'm gonna try to stop him, not kill him, because he was behind him at one point. He could have just shot him, right? Like, I mean, he should have, right? Like, no offense, but he should have. He should have fucking blown his fucking head off. Hey, this guy killed 2 people. Boom, you're done. Like, what are we talking about, right? Good guy with a gun type of shit. But it would have still been taken as you shot and killed this kid. That's how it would have been taken. But the problem is white vigilantism is given these benefits of the doubt. Oh, they have mental illness. Oh, they're kids. Oh, they're this, they're that, right? They are given. And the thing is, I hate saying that because it sounds like I'm railing against those ideas as being bullshit, right? In this case, it is bullshit. But I'm not railing against it as a commonality of being, or like as a normal thing being bullshit. The problem is they're not used across the board. Like, that mindset is not used when you see black people doing something. I haven't heard one person talk about mental illness for that douchebag black dude who drove his car and killed all those people. I haven't heard 1 ounce of, well, he's got mental illness. I've heard, well, he's got a record for domestic violence. That's all I heard. Where's his mental illness? Should he get it? No. Put that guy in jail for fucking life. But what I'm saying is it's not equally distributed across these people. It's just simply not.
Case in point, quite famously, the reason that like California, for example, has really restrictive gun laws, it's not because of a Democratic governor, it's because of Ronald fucking Reagan. Why? Because the Black Panthers saw a loophole in the system and they're like, cool, like they want to let people open carry. Well, then we're going to fucking open carry. And if they don't like it, we'll be like, well, it's the fucking law. And they're just like, oh shit, they're right. We better change the fucking law because these black guys are scaring the shit out of us.
Right.
And that's exactly what happened.
That's why there's a bunch of open carry black organizations now. There's one,
and there honestly should be. Like, I don't advocate for wider gun ownership, gun usage, anything like that. But at the same time, like, there are people who do believe in those ideals that are also on the left, who, should fucking show the right wing. All right, cool. You want us to open carry? You want us to have weapons? You think that's cool all the time? Then that's what we're going to do.
I mean,
and
look,
the problem,
go ahead.
The problem is now that this is the result of this situation, you're going to have a slew of right-wing maniacs that show up to otherwise peaceful protests with guns and are going to fire them at somebody at the first sign of what they perceive as trouble, and more people will die or get injured, and they'll think that they're, well, here, Kyle Rittenhouse, like, he got off, so I should too, and that's going to be the defense that their lawyers posit forward as trial. Whether or not it works, obviously it's going to differ based on the situation.
Yep.
From issue to issue, but now you are giving license to, ironically, more anarchy, which you claim to want to fight against. Like you guys are the law and order party, but in actuality, you're inviting more chaos to the streets, which is what a lot of people would want on that side of the aisle.
Yeah, I mean, look, I cannot help but assume that this acquittal will do exactly what you said, which is embolden people to bring more guns, more AR-15s or long guns or whatever the shit, to otherwise peaceful protests, looking for something, looking for a fight. And that will happen. People will get shot. People will get killed. It will stop people from wanting to do protests, right? It has a cooling effect. But before you get there, people on the left are going to start bringing guns. And you're going to have all-out gunfights. And this is not a good idea. If you think like, well, they'll show them and they'll show them, whichever side of the aisle you're on. No, this is not. That eliminates the ability of right to assembly. That's a very cooling effect on a major part of the Constitution.
Yeah.
So you have to ask yourself, and this is the part of sort of right-wing ideology that I think should be taken very seriously and denounced in the strongest terms. This idea that the Second Amendment allows you to not just own guns, but to bring guns any and everywhere starts to get in the way of any of the other freedoms. If I go to a bar and I want to talk about whatever I want to talk about, loudly and proudly, they can kick me out or they can't. They can kick me out or not. But if I know that everybody in there is packing, that's a cooling effect on my First Amendment rights, right? Or not even First Amendment rights, just the right to say whatever I want. With the government is obviously not going to come in and do anything, right? Like they're not going to come to the bar, but it stops people from having the ability to speak openly, right? So, which is not the same as the bar saying I can't say this. It's just a general cooling effect, right? And right wingers would be like, oh, that's not true. But you guys were still pissed off that a couple of dudes from the New Black Panthers stood outside of a voting place. Why? The same exact reason, right? You made the argument, and they shouldn't have been there, right? Harassing people, but they were there harassing people as a cooling effect to stop voting. It's the same thing. But in this case, it's even worse, right? Because then you're starting to cool speech, which is not fucking okay. So yeah, I'm not a fan of this acquittal. Again, I think Kyle Rittenhouse should have done significant time for what he did. Right. Like I get that he's a kid and they're probably not going to throw the book at him if he was Kyle Rittenhouse 35-year-old. I understand that. But Kyle Rittenhouse should have been like, that's cool. You're you were out of society for 15 years. Like good day.
Yeah.
Good day. Like you need a serious cooling off period in your life to understand that what you did was fucked up. Because if you go back, and if you do some research on him, like there's video of him like punching a girl in the face. Like this kid's got some fucking problems. He does.
Yeah. And again, this acquittal, by acquitting him, saying that you agree with the fact that he was acting in self-defense, you're alleging that the people that he killed were approaching him with the to do lethal harm, which they were not.
Right.
Like you said, they were mostly defending when they saw that he was opening fire on people, which is that right there.
Right.
I will say,
I don't know, sorry. By the way, just quickly, what is the reason for the initial engagement? Right? Have they ever gotten down to brass tacks about what that was? What initially got him to fire?
So he said that the first guy that he killed chased him and made a grab for Kyle Rittenhouse's gun to like wrestle it away from him. And he said that he was afraid his rifle was going to be taken away from him and then used to kill him. So that's why he thought he had to act with lethal force.
But why?
And then because he's a child that didn't belong anywhere near where he was.
No, but I'm saying, why would the guy just randomly come after him and be like, I'm going to take your gun and kill you? Why?
Oh, I see what you're saying. What
is the initial engagement?
That I don't know.
Again, and I feel like that's never been answered.
Fucking gun. Yeah, because he's pointing his fucking gun at people.
Right. Like, I feel like that question's never been answered.
Yeah.
Because it's a big one. If, like, there are people walking around with long guns, dude. They're not just randomly running up to some. Like, there were people there with long guns, right? Other right-wingers with long guns. None of them killed 2 people.
There you go. That's what it was, is that prosecutors said that he was creating a dangerous situation in the first place because he was pointing his rifle at demonstrators. So basically he was threatening to shoot them.
There you go. So the rules of engagement are you are in fact showing a level of aggression.
Yeah.
Okay. But again, him being a kid works in his favor. My thing is I'm not okay with that, but I don't want people to not treat kids as kids. I want them to treat kids as kids across the board. If you're considering Kyle Rittenhouse to be less of a threat because he's a child, which I don't agree with in this case, you got to look at Michael Brown. You got to look at Tamir Rice. You got to look at those people as children too. You have to.
Yeah.
And that's the problem, is America doesn't.
There's a few silver linings that do come out of this case. I do think that people are now more aware of down ballot elections because the judge in this case showed himself to be clearly incompetent. And you come to find out that he's literally been sitting on the bench for longer than I have been alive. Mm-hmm. And it's because he keeps running unopposed in elections because no one cares about judicial elections. No. So maybe you should. Maybe people should start running. Like the good news for me is that when this judge runs again, there will be someone to challenge him, and hopefully he will be voted out of his seat because he absolutely does not deserve to hold anymore if he doesn't retire, which would honestly be the smarter way to go if I were him.
Yeah, I mean he's old enough, like just shuffle off.
Yeah. But so I mean there's that at least. I think this case also because of the actions of the judge and because of everything else is going on is more fuel to allowing cameras in federal court, which currently is not something that's able to happen. But there have been many lawyers and people in law that have argued that point. Like, we need to have cameras in federal court. We need to have cameras in the Supreme Court. Like, people should be allowed to watch
I think so.
Supreme Court arguments if they want to. Like why are we doing all this behind closed doors?
Yeah,
the American people deserve to see how their justice system is working.
Yeah, I saw, I've heard from many quotes from justices saying, well, we don't want to play to the camera and all this other stuff. Horseshit. You play to the cameras whether they're there or not. That's why you give these grandiose speeches and shit like that.
Right, and when you write your opinions, you're playing to public sentiment.
Right. So knock it off. Like I'm not buying that as a reasoning at all. Okay. Next up, U.S. has been labeled a backsliding democracy for the first time. I think this has everything to do with the Kyle Rittenhouse story. Let me rephrase that. Mm-hmm. I think the Kyle Rittenhouse story is another face as to why, on the dodecahedron of hate and bigotry, as to why we are listed now as a backsliding democracy for the first time by a European think tank. I know what you're thinking, conservatives. Ain't no Euro trash going to tell me about democracy. This is probably Joe Biden's fault. Not exactly. No. The United States, for the first time, was added to a list of backsliding democracies in a report released Monday by the Stockholm-based International Institute for Democracy and Electoral Assistance. Sounds very official. Quote, the United States, the bastion of global democracy, fell victim to authoritarian tendencies itself and was knocked down a significant number of steps on its democratic scale. The study, which analyzed trends from 2020 to 2021, found that more than a quarter of the world's population now lives democratically backsliding countries. Wow, that is fucking horrifying.
Yeah.
Which international idea defines as nation seeing a gradual decline in the quality of its democracy. Do you agree with that? Yes or absolutely yes?
100% yes. I mean, for fuck's sake, when you have a former leader of the country who was a wannabe authoritarian, when you have prominent politicians and citizens, like an appreciable number, who don't accept the results of free and fair elections, when you have people that are again trying to extrajudiciously hold people, to account from a law and order standpoint on the streets, without going through due process. These are all things that contribute towards not having a democracy that's on very stable footing. There is a reason that most civilizations in the world, most governments, most rules, have not lasted strongly for more than maybe a couple hundred years. And certainly, from a democratic standpoint, we are the longest running in the world at this point. These kind of blips from a civilization standpoint are inevitable. Every civilization, every government will experience issues like this eventually at one point or another, because there eventually becomes a group of people who really just like to be in power and will do anything that they can to ensure that they stay in power, because at the end of the day, that's what it really amounts to, because with power comes money, and with money comes control. So this is our moment now, our first real one. I guess you can count the Civil War as a check on democracy as well. So maybe our second real moment like this. Right. And so how we respond is going to be everything. And it's not going to be how we respond tomorrow. It's going to be how we respond over the next, decade, 2 decades, essentially. And right now, I don't feel great about it. I'm not feeling too hot about the way things are trending at the moment.
Not a lot of positive, not Mr. Vibes only over here.
No, the vibes are bad, Jay. The vibes are bad.
Good vibes only, Brad. Good vibes, as young people tell me. I don't listen to them because that's ridiculous. Young people, I mean, not good vibes. So no, look. In all seriousness, this should be one of the many canaries that is dying in the coal mine. Okay. If think tanks are now like, dude, shit is going awry, pay attention. This isn't just liberals saying it. This is not just conservatives saying liberals are bad, or liberals are saying conservatives are bad. These are people from the outside saying, you guys were the bastion of democracy. What is happening? But I made this analogy a long time ago. My wife made this analogy, and I mentioned it on the show, and I think I still stand by it, which is when you are going through therapy, it has to get real fucking rough before you get to the good part, right? Till you make a breakthrough. And you gotta have your stages, right? You gotta have your Obama stage, which was a major change. That was going to therapy. Obama was the America going, oh, all right, we've been talking about going to therapy for a long time. And we met somebody and they were like, I really like you, but we can't date until you go. And we were like, fine, we'll go. And we went. We're like, hey, this isn't so bad. And then we started bringing up shit. And we're like, oh no. And that's the Trump era, right? That's the unearthing of shit that unite the right and all that, which we'll talk about this week. They're back, but in a good way for us.
Not in the way they want to be.
So. No, it's great. Less money, more problems. So it's that was unearthing all of that trauma and shit like that we've been trying to bury and pretend isn't there. Like kind of pro-Nazi shit that has been, bubbling under the surface in white America for a long time. And I'm cool with a black president, like, but not really, type of shit. And like all of this like bigotry and racism and homophobia and all this stuff that's been at the surface. Sometimes it bubbles up a little bit. Sometimes it doesn't. That Trump era brought it all out. That like just that vile fucking hatred for liberals and conservatives and, just fighting each other and literally a global pandemic happening. And these people are just like still on this bullshit, right? Like that's the deep, hard part of therapy, right? We're still in that section. In this backsliding democracy, we're still in that where people go to therapy and they're like, well, this sucks. And then they stop going. But you got to go all the way through it. Got to go all the way through it till you reach that point where you're like, now I'm ready. Now I'm ready to get back out there. I dealt with my shit. Now I got to get ready. It's going to be a while. We're going to be in it for a while. And if we do it right, we can come out the other side in a better country. We really can. But there's a whole lot of people that are going to do some dirty shit. And people are going to die. People are going to get hurt. People are going to say and do things that are seemingly unbelievable in the name of their freedom or whatever, or their political ideology. But we got to work through it. We got to keep going. We have to.
Unfortunately,
if that's how it works, it might just be we all just die. Like,
yeah,
it could be just.
Unfortunately, the vanguard against sliding down the fucking tubes of democracy is not liberals and progressives. It's rational conservatives and what they're willing to abide. And so far, through the last 5 or 6 years, they've been willing to abide a lot.
Way too much.
that only a handful of them have really been strongly speaking out about. So I'm going to need them to get their shit together and to put a fucking line in the sand, and to fix their shit. Get your fucking people sorted out, conservatives, because like this cannot abide. Progressives and liberals will continue on our side of the table, fighting about the shit that we fight about all the time, but still hopefully remaining relatively united at the end of the day when it comes to common cause. You guys need to do your own little group therapy session and work through your issues so you can come join the rest of us at the big kids table. Problem is, I'm not bullish on the prospect of that happening anytime soon.
Yeah. I'm not either. Again, that's what I'm saying. Like in this analogy, like it's going to be a minute, like it's going to be years. Mm-hmm. Right. But I also believe that like there's part of me that believes in America. Like, I hate to say this, because it sounds insane, but there's part of me that thinks that we can rise to the occasion because we have to, right? Not in that like bullshit, like we're the greatest country ever. No, I think sometimes we rise to the occasion because we literally don't have another choice, and we'll destroy ourselves if we don't, right? That's what I'm hoping on. I'm not banking on it, hoping on it. there is a massive difference between banking on it and hoping on it. I'm hoping that people get broken out of this cult. And I mean that. I truly mean that. Right now you have people literally in Dallas still. Remember we made fun of the JFK Jr. fucking nutbags who were like, we're going to go to Dallas. And they're still there. They're still there because they don't want to admit that they were wrong. That's what it is, right? Like, you don't stay there now. Like, they don't think like, oh, tomorrow it's going to be the day. No, you cannot admit you're wrong. But eventually, that cult's got to break. It's got to break. It has to break in order for us. Like, you got to break people of that fucking control so that those 50% of those nutcases will go, all right, I might have been fucking up. Like, that's crazy. Like, they don't have to be liberal all of a sudden. They just have to not believe in madness. Like, pure madness. Like, believe in trickle-down economics. That wasn't so bad. Like, Okay, financially
pretty
you're
bad.
stupid. No, I'm saying financially it's fucking stupid. Believing that JFK Jr. is going to come back to life and being a Republican makes trickle down economics look pretty easy, right? In comparison.
Yeah.
So
the problem is though is that in order to get those people like the citizenry to come along for that ride, you need someone as charismatic as Trump, but not insane. And the problem is that currently in the right wing, there's no room for that person. Like there's nothing to be won by being that person. There is something to be won by racing to the bottom to go to the fucking Trump land right now. So if you're not going to have someone that's going to shepherd these people back to the light, I guess you could say, I don't know how you get them there. Like it would literally take. I don't even know what it would take. Like, because I would say it would take something like a pandemic, but here we fucking are. Like, and we had a pandemic and it didn't do jack shit. And I think part of the problem too. So you mentioned, coming together because we have to kind of thing, which to me, I know you weren't intending it, but that's some jingoistic nonsense. The problem is that I don't.
Are aliens about to attack? Because that's the only way.
Well, that's about the only thing. I mean, and even then. Like the Democrats probably did this like that. That's probably where what you'd get there.
It's the plot of Watchmen, right? It's the plot of Watchmen. That's literally what it is. And that didn't really. I mean, it worked out, but like not really.
What truly unites all of us as Americans? Because honestly, for the life of me, I can't think of much. I mean, because I truly over the past several years, like I don't really. Like get down with like my country,
welcome, Brad. Hey,
yeah,
congratulations.
I'm not like sitting there like not I'm not fucking waving the flag and being proud to be an American like kind of bullshit. Like I'm not fucking standing up tall during the national anthem at sporting events anymore, or holding my hand to my heart. Like that's like all that kind of shit. I just don't feel that right now because there is nothing. There is no spirit right now in this country that unifies all of us together. Or at least I don't think so.
There was one.
Yeah.
And the cult ruined it. There was one. There's one thing all Americans agreed on. This is how fucked that cult is. And I'm talking about like the QAnon shit. This is how fucked it is. It ruined the one thing we all agreed on. We all agreed. We all agreed that Tom Hanks was great. We all agreed Tom Hanks was great. Everyone liked Tom Hanks. Everyone did. You maybe didn't like Forrest Gump, you fucking lunatics. Right? You maybe didn't like all of his movies.
Forrest Gump.
There's some people do. Like I've seen people write that on Twitter. I'm like, what planet are you from? Like, come on, man. It's a great movie. It wasn't that great.
I mean, you had to be there. It was amazing. It was amazing how they filmed it.
It was kind of dude, it was the Ted Lasso of its day. Relax. You fucking millennials. Relax. Or zennials, I don't know. Young people. But the most important thing is like Tom Hanks was agreed upon as a thing that everyone liked. Everyone liked Tom Hanks. And they ruined it. They were like, now he's a pedophile. Like, I think they picked him solely so they could divide people. I truly do. Like, because if you could buy into that, you could buy into anything, right? But that was the one thing we had. That's it. They ruined Tom Hanks. So yeah, I don't think we have anything else. I truly don't think we have anything else that brings us together, which tells me that maybe the story of America isn't us rising to the occasion. Maybe it's us breaking apart. And I think maybe if we cannot do it via a giant civil war, that would be great. That some president, no, I'm serious. That some president comes in and says, look, I hear you. I'm going to run for president. And my vice president is a guy I like vehemently disagree with, and our goal is to separate the country. Like, and I don't know 100 years from now, I don't know, but I don't see another outcome besides us just murdering each other in the street.
Let me bounce you this one off you real quick. It'll blow your mind. Ready? America has truly never been a united country. because the north south divide.
Think about it.
The north south divide existed from the get go. Like literally, when they were writing the Constitution, people in the South were like, "I want to count on my slaves," and people in the North were like, "No. How about we do 3/5?" And they're like, "All right, cool. Let's get this fucker signed." Like it's literally never like the South has always
it's never melded. It's never melded
aggrieved by the North, and then we had a civil war. And then we're just like, come on back. And the South, like, we still kind of fucking hate you guys. Like, so we're going to treat black people like shit because we're mad. Like that's literally fucking how it's kind of gone.
I mean, it's not like the North was like great about it either. Better, but not great about it.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I think maybe that's the solution, is that the country breaks up. Look, I got to tell you, if it's a bloodless thing and it's just like, we just go our way, I'd love to see it in my lifetime. I would. I would. Honestly, no, dude. I'm telling you, if we broke up in 20 years, we could have a pretty good fucking life in New America or whatever. Because I ain't going. No, they're gonna want to keep the name. They can have it.
Well,
they can have the name.
Well, so maybe the breakup would be amicable, but the aftermath wouldn't, because all of the fucking right wing states would collapse into like a fucking destitute third world poverty country. And then they try to invade us.
Yeah, within a year.
Because they're like, how dare you leave us to our fucking filth and crap? Like, why didn't you tell us it was gonna be this bad? And we're like, well, we tried.
Yeah. No, I'm telling you.
We want free healthcare too. Oh, now you want free healthcare.
Build a wall. Build a wall. I support the giant dome. Yeah, I support the dome. Like, Initiative 111 dome over New America. That's fine. I don't know. But this idea of it being us being a backsliding democracy is real. It's very real. And I don't know that we can recover. I don't know that we can. I'd love to see us recover. I'd love to see us go through that sort of political therapy and make it out the other side in a better than when we started. But I think you're right. The North and the South have never mended together. They've never melded together. They haven't. And that's a fundamental disconnect in why we cannot get certain shit done. If the North was by itself, we would have had free healthcare. We would have had, equal pay by now, or, largely equal pay, right? Because I'm not going to pretend like the North is fucking perfect. It's not. We would have a better economy because we wouldn't have the certain states dragging us down. Politically dragging us down, and financially. Our education would be better. Universally it would be better. I think we wouldn't have such massive, bigotry when it comes to like race and sex and gender, all this stuff. Yeah, of course we still have problems, right? Because those things exist and people are dickheads, right? There are plenty of East Coast liberals who are just fucking douchebags, but you'd have less of it. You'd have less religious, sort of religious-based xenophobia and religious-based bigotry. You'd have less of it. Doesn't mean you wouldn't have people who are religious, but you don't have the same level of like insane religious fervor that you have in the South.
Yeah.
You just don't, right? And you could say that's a good or bad thing. I'm not religious, and neither are you. So my perspective is it's a good thing. But I can understand someone making the argument that it's not. But that's just my personal experience.
I don't think you can tangibly point to the entirety of human civilization and say that wouldn't be a good thing to have religion less involved in our day.
I'm just trying to be welcoming to everyone. Yes, of course, Brad. I would agree with you. I would agree with you, but I'm just saying that some people, my people, black people, would say that, having this religion kept us afloat. And that's true, right? Because of white people's bullshit. And we needed something to fucking hang on to. But it's 2021, dog. Like, I'm good. Like, we're not in the middle of, chattel slavery. So I don't need to believe in a sky daddy to save me. So but I get it. But that being said, I don't know what else you can do besides break the country up that's going to be the right solution for everyone, right? Every couple of years, the left says, we need to break the country up, right? Because we got a right-wing president and a right-wing Congress who's doing like horrible shit. And then the news media goes, the liberals are so stupid. How dare they talk about, leaving this country? And then a couple of years later, Democrats get in charge and Republicans do the same thing. And they're like, you're so stupid. Like, no, but maybe we're not stupid. Maybe we realize something that the news media doesn't, which is we don't work well together. Like, we just don't. We simply don't.
Well, but it's funny you say it, though, because they're in moving towards that. There's a lot of bitter pills that liberals would have to swallow as well, because really the way that you would get there, if such a thing were ever possible, would be to drive more towards a federalist society where states, have sway. So unfortunately, you would see a lot more states passing laws that you really don't like and passing laws that you're fundamentally opposed to from a human rights standpoint to get there before we actually got to the breakup part of the situation.
Yeah, you're right.
So if that truly is something that you believe in, then you might have to swallow your pride a little bit when Texas is passing 6-week abortion laws and things of that nature.
Right.
But
I hate to say that, but yeah.
Like I said, I don't see how we can get to that point because we're a little too congregated together from a landmass standpoint. Because again, I being a man of history, look over at the continent to the east, and we're like, man, those places are all really close together, and they've had quite a few problems over the years because of their geography. And I don't see how breaking up into several different, societies and independent countries would be a good thing overall, because we're too close. And when you want to go invade somebody, it's really easy to do that. So I think it would throw us into more of like a feudal society, somewhat, or at least kind of have the echoes of that.
I gotta tell you, man, I'm just gonna move. I don't know, man. I'm serious. Like, I'm just gonna move.
Canada's nice, so
yeah, it's like America is just colder. Like, I just wish it was warmer there. Like, I would move to Canada if it was just warmer.
I mean, I like the cold.
Yeah, I know you do. I know you do. That's your thing. That's not my thing. I got democracy. It's reasonable. They got weed. Like, come on, man. Like,
yeah, healthcare. A handsome head of state.
Yeah, I mean, that guy's kind of fucking up, but he's good looking.
Yeah,
So yeah, I don't know, man. I think I'm just gonna move. I don't know. I just live in a fucking beautiful fucking house in the middle of Bali, Indonesia. Just leave me alone. Does it have internet? That's enough. That's enough. Don't talk to me. Don't call. Don't write. All right, next up. Come on, docket. Moving a little slow here. Trump-backed Sean Parnell suspends his campaign. This isn't good. This guy, my docket is acting very weird. So, Brad, if you can give more details here. But this guy lost.
Absolutely. So basically, Sean Parnell is running for Senate in Pennsylvania. So he's running to get the Republican nomination, so he can eventually fill that seat. So he was basically accused by his estranged wife of domestic abuse. And he's been trying to vehemently deny it, but his wife took him to court to get custody of their 3 kids. And the judge is like, yeah, I think he did that shit. So I'm going to go ahead and grant you full custody of these children. And because of this, he is now suspending his campaign, which I have to tell you was the most shocking news of the day, because I thought that him being credibly accused of domestic assault would actually embolden his campaign, because that gives him Republican bona fides in this new Republican Party.
Yeah, no, I thought that's exactly what they were going to do. I thought it was going to be like, no, this is the guy. Look how he beats his children like God intended. Like, wait, what? I mean, nothing. I don't put anything past the right wing at this point. Like, they can do anything they want. But yeah, this guy was backed by Trump, and he's getting tossed, or he's tossing himself over.
Now,
so that's good.
How much do you want to bet that Donald Trump never mentions his name again? Like he's not going to talk about him.
100%. No. He came out and said that he was disappointed that he was associated. They were saying that he was associated with this guy after he got busted for the shit. Like Trump was like, why do they keep mentioning my name? Because you backed him, dude.
Yeah.
You backed him. And you're the de facto leader of the party. That's why.
Yeah.
You backed him. But he's already on the who the fuck is Scott Parnell train. Already done.
Of course.
By the way, that train's a coming.
I don't know him.
It's right on time, and they threw Scott in front of it, or Sean in front of it.
Was he a coffee boy on my campaign as well at some point?
Never heard of him.
Yeah,
why would I
is.
endorse him? Did I?
The other weird story coming from this specific story is that apparently Mehmet Oz, and I refuse to call him doctor because he's not, is apparently running for set, like thinking about throwing his hat into the ring now, which would be fucking hilarious.
Yeah, buddy. Look, he gonna win.
God, Pennsylvania's not insane enough that they would just automatically put him in there. They're not. Who's their other senator right now? Who besides Pat Toomey is their senator currently?
I don't know. I only know Pat Toomey. I'm not sure who the other.
Okay, I mean they have a Democratic governor.
All right, Brad. Okay.
I'm just saying.
You don't think it's gonna be? You don't think it'll be Dr. Oz? Okay.
They voted for Biden.
Okay. It's Dr. Oz. Democrats like Dr.
Shit about Dr. Oz.
Democrats like Dr. Oz.
Sucks. No,
yeah.
Oprah likes Dr. Oz.
Everybody likes Dr. Oz. Who
Who likes Dr. Oz?
People like Dr. Oz, dude. They do. Yeah, they do.
When?
Look at his ratings. People like Dr. Oz. He tells them to eat goji berries to lose weight, and they're like, this guy's a genius. Just saying, dude. People like Dr. Oz.
Again,
here's how much white people love Dr. Oz, just so you know. They love Dr. Oz so much that they would be shocked to know that Dr. Oz is Muslim. They don't know. I'm serious.
If I believe you, if the name didn't give it away,
that's why he goes by Dr. Oz. He doesn't go by Mehmet. Yeah, no, yo, I'm telling you, they're gonna be like, "What the fuck is Mehmet?" Like, oh no, it's Dr. Oz. Dr. Oz is Muslim. What?
Is this another Nikki Haley situation?
Yes,
probably.
Yeah, of course.
It's gonna change his first name to Martin, Dr. Martin Oz.
Yeah, Martin Oz.
Yes, it's me, Martin Oz.
Martin Oz. You know your old friend Martin. Yeah. Okay. All right, Mehmet. Look, I got no issues with Dr. Oz as a personal brand. I have a lot of issues with him as a doctor. You know, telling people about medicine. Like, I have problems with those issues. Him talking on television and giving any sort of advice to people when it comes to health at all. Those are things I might have an issue with. But personally,
I feel like he's a doctor in the same way that like Dr. Drew is a doctor.
Dr. Drew is a doctor.
I know he is, but he's also a crazy person.
Like Loveline Dr. Drew?
Yeah, like Loveline Dr. Drew is like a right-wing lunatic.
Yeah, he's a fucking asshole. Yeah, no, I know that.
Yeah, like he sucks. But yes, that Dr. Drew. Yes, he may be an actual doctor, but he doesn't really give good doctorly advice.
Didn't Dr. Drew tell people like the vaccine was bullshit? I believe so.
Yeah.
I'm like, yo, aren't you like a sexual health doctor? What the fuck do you know about vaccines?
He does not know anything.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, I think maybe you shouldn't do a threesome with your boyfriend. Like, that's the shit I'm asking Doctor. I'm asking.
It's kind of like how I may trust Ben Carson to operate on my brain, but not to run my housing department. Like kind of thing.
I would trust.
Like those skills are not translatable.
I would trust Ben Carson to work on my brain before I would trust Ben Carson to spell the word brain. Ironically. My luggage. That guy's dumb. Like, it's sad. So yeah, this dude.
Lots of doctors are dumb. So
yeah, they are.
Yeah,
look, they know one thing.
Like Dr. Oz, who apparently is going to be the Republican nominee for Senate in the state of Pennsylvania.
You think so? You don't think he's going to win? You don't think he's going to win?
No, not if they run. Not if like John Fetterman runs against him.
No, that's true. Fetterman would beat him.
Yeah.
I hope. But I do
Fetterman
like the idea of
literally beat him.
Yeah, no, to death.
Fetterman would literally beat him up. Like,
yes, it would be WWE's Kane versus Dr. Oz. because that's who that guy reminds me of. He's awesome. But I'd love to see Oz get the nomination because I want someone to call him out on all his quack bullshit that he puts on TV. I'd be like, oh, didn't you tell people to eat like dark chocolate to cure cancer? Knock it off. Don't vote for this guy. This guy's an idiot. This guy's a huckster.
So when you say someone, what you really mean is that Thugs of News are taking a road trip up to Pennsylvania.
Oh, I like that, Brad. I like that. Oh, you think we could get Dr. Oz on the show? Nah,
maybe
he's too big for us. He's too big.
We can inflate ourselves as being bigger. So
it's true. It's true.
Like, look, we've got graphics and everything. Clearly,
yeah. These guys are professionals. How could they have possibly done it? Yeah, a little bit of work, some Photoshop. It's not that hard. Yeah. If Dr. Oz wins the nomination, I'm going to try to get an interview with Dr. Oz. I promise you that. If he gets the nomination, I will work hard to see if we can get him on the show. I'm going to be like,
why do you think you're qualified to be a senator? And he'll be like, Tommy Tuberville's a senator, and you'd be like, that's fair.
You know what? End of interview.
I can't really
Fuck, Jesus Christ! What?
you hit me with the silver bullet.
Yeah, dude, you got me.
I don't
dude.
know what I could do.
I mean, fucking Louis Gohmert's in Congress. Fuck this guy. This guy's a genius. Maybe he should be there. Like, he deserves it. God damn. Okay, that's the end of the free portion for this week's episode of Look Forward. Make sure you go to lookforwardshow.com/premium. Sign up for premium content. It's only $5 a month or $50 for the full year.